Well, folks, here's a case of what not to do. How can I put this? Well, this is my IBM ThinkPad 760XL, and I pulled it out to make a video of some software that I just picked up. But something happened, and I know exactly what it is, and I'm so embarrassed. I don't know if I want to admit it. It's kind of sad, actually. Well, the 760XL, when I got it, was in as new condition. I mean, it was apparently used to control an HVAC system. And typically these are only used when changes need to be made and... Oh, good timing. Shut up. When changes need to be made to the program that the HVAC system is running. For example, they want to change the temperature in room 300. So they'll power this on and they'll make the change or they would use it for diagnostic purposes. The end result is you wind up with a laptop that's been used so seldomly. What am I doing? that it doesn't really age. So I still have all the original software, the paperwork that came with it, everything that the accessory guides. It was a really, really good find when I bought it. But something happened between then and now, and I'll tell you what happened. I had this thing on my living room table, which just happens to be usually where I eat. And I had a full can of ginger ale off to the side and forgot about it. Well, later that night, now mind you, this was back in, I want to say this was back in April. It's been a while. Well, later that night, I got up and I kicked the table by accident. I mean, it was like right there by my feet. The can falls over, it's full, and liquid starts racing towards my laptop, which was sitting at the end of the table, or towards the middle. You all know where this is going. Well, the liquid got into... It splashed on the machine, but it didn't look like it went anywhere. It didn't look like it was really, in the guts of the machine. So I cleaned it up, powered it on, everything looked fine. I took the hard drive out to make sure nothing got in there, and everything looked okay. But I ended up shutting it down and putting it up in my cabinet where it's been there, well, since April. And let me show you what it does. I didn't even think anything of it. I'm like, oh, well, the ginger ale didn't get into the laptop. And by the way, the battery has held the charge for about 4 months. April, May, June, July, 3 months. The battery has held the charge for at least 3 months. Imagine that. So it goes through cycles where it'll actually start to boot and then stop. Sometimes it'll hang right here. Sometimes the screen doesn't even come on at all. And it just rebooted itself randomly. So it's kind of like it's in between wanting to work and wanting to do nothing but lie dead and be recycled. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull it apart and take a look at what really happened. How much liquid really got into this system. And it'll just sit here and hang. And it's not the hard drive. It's not, I've already done the diagnostics. There is something with the board itself. The hard drive is fine. But there is something with the board because sometimes it won't even display anything on screen. It'll either come up with, the screen will be completely blank, or it'll just sit there with a black illuminated screen. And I've even gotten it to start booting Windows a couple of times, but today's not the day. So what we need to do now is we need to pull it apart. Now the last time I tried disassembling a 760XL, I threw it across the room in desperation. They're not easy to disassemble, and I don't remember why. That was 12 years ago. This is now. So we're going to find out just how hard they are to pull apart. Now the nice thing about the 760 series, and many IBMs of that time period, the logic board was in its own little unit. And you can, let me grab the camera here, you can see it. The logic board is housed in this metal box. And these laptops were designed to take punishment. Mind you, this particular model has actually flown in outer space. They were designed to take punishment, but they were never designed to take liquid spills. No computer was. Well, except for the Panasonic Toughbook. So what we need to do now is we need to remove these little plastic caps, or and we can save them, but they're little yeah, we're going to need a smaller screwdriver for that. This is a delicate operation. We want to remove all of these little screw covers without ruining them, because we want to reuse them later. Just like that. There. Let's try that again. When we get those off, then I'm going to take off. Okay, so we've removed about a dozen screws, both from the back, the top, and this little cable cover. So we're going to have to pull that off. Actually, I believe that comes off after we pull the screen. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Let's see. No, wait a minute. Let's get that out of the way. Let's see, I think we actually have to pull the display off as a unit, and that cover goes with it. So the hinges are held in by 8 screws. The ThinkPad, by the way, this is really one of the most durable ThinkPads you could buy in the mid to late 90s. The 760 series was innovative, was as innovative as it was durable. I mean, it was designed for some serious usage, and it can't be more evident in you know, there we go, that comes off like that, and then there we go, have the display off. Okay, put that in a safe place. This was one of the few laptops that you could buy in the late 90s that didn't have the issue of display hinges breaking off. Very few laptops from that time period were built well enough to not really have a problem with that. Compacts were notorious for hinge failures, which is why I generally avoid them as collectible items. In my years working on laptops and portables, I have never seen an LTE 486 or a Contora 486 or 386 that didn't have busted hinges. It's like it can't happen. It's impossible. And that's where the IBM ThinkPads come in, because they're just so well made. I mean, these were designed to be workhorses, and you can tell just by the level of precision and engineering that went into this machine. Unfortunately, they're not ginger ale proof. In fact, I think it says so in the manual somewhere. But no, if you wanted a laptop or that could be used in wet locations, there are several machines available that you can still buy to this day from that time period that can handle it. The one that comes to mind, actually there's two. One of them, I know I saw an ad for it when it was a new product, but Sager used to make a laptop that was suitable for wet locations or boats. But the Panasonic Toughbook was actually the machine of choice. So much, in fact, that the brand endures today, and they're used by law enforcement and military personnel worldwide. If you think your MacBook is durable because of its aluminum housing, you're sadly mistaken. I mean, the aluminum MacBook, and I've owned 2 of them myself, and I have one for work, is a tremendous machine. But it doesn't have the resilience that some of these ABS plastic or magnesium alloy or what was the other material I've seen? This one is made of a carbon composite material. It just doesn't have the resilience that these machines had way back in the 90s. I mean, even today, this laptop would survive more abuse than my nearly $2,000 MacBook Pro. And that's just the sad truth. So we're going to remove, this is the infrared transceiver. Just take that off. And we're going to take off this this option port cover. Just to get that out of the way. You don't want it hanging on anything. And I believe it'll hang on the whatchamacallit. That's the term for it, I think. The whatchamacallit. So the memory board stays behind. This is just going to pop off. Or it should. There we go, just like that. No, let's take the memory board out. Changed my mind. I see some cables that I am concerned about. So I'm going to take the memory board and we're going to relieve it of its duties. And we're going to see once and for all how much fluid wound up inside this laptop and if we can save it. Ooh, I didn't see that there. Turns out there's actually fluid evident right in front here. I didn't even notice it. This is why when you spill liquid of any kind on any laptop or device, it's always a good idea to look and see what you might have done instead of waiting until you blow it up to find out. Fair enough. Okay. Get those screws out of there. Memory board out of there. Now looking at the memory board, I see no evidence of liquid. It seems to have entered through the front. Okay. So we're going to have to give the shell a complete hose down, if nothing else. Now I may actually have to remove the connector. No, I shouldn't have to. Shouldn't have to remove those. But let's see here. Huh. Okay. Well, that's bizarre. It looks like the power switch cover-ish thing also has to come out. And we're trying to figure out how to do that. Alright, let me pause the camera and I'll... Okay, I didn't get it out in one piece as I intended, but I got the cover off, and I am pretty sure, I guess I was wrong on that one. I've been wrong before. Many of my loyal viewers can certainly attest to that. But yeah, I was wrong, I guess. And, yeah. I think these might actually have to come off. Just like that. Oh, there we go. That might make it a little easier. Oh, here we go. Ha! Got it out. Okay. That's all that was. Oh, shut up. So. Oops, there goes that. What the hell happened here? So it was on this side that the liquid came in. So we need to liberate the board haves and have-nots. That was a joke. very bad one. We got to disassemble the entire board assembly and take a look underneath. But I'm willing to bet you there's going to be some liquid under there. But I don't see any obvious liquid damage. Other than the infrared board, which goes right up front here. That's it. And that infrared board, does that have anything to do with the keyboard switch? I don't think it does. But there is some massive corrosion here. Well, very minor corrosion. Two completely different things. But I see some damage on that board. That's the IR receiver. Oh, wait, here we go. This is the front one. Ha! That was the rear one I was looking at. Here's the front IR receiver. And if I peel back this protective layer, of course, you can clearly see there's some kind of a sticky substance on it. Peel back the layers, and nothing really comes out to me, and I mean, that really shouldn't affect the operation of the machine. Here's the cooling fan, by the way, if ever you wanted to see it. It's a tiny little fan. Long life model, brushless, floating, magnetic levitation model. Beautiful thing. Well, we have to disassemble the entire board, so for that I'm going to move over to the copy. Okay, give up. Kind of reminded me of something from Spaceballs. You know, with a massive ship, you know. Shut up. Alright, so, we're going to take this here motherboard apart. I'm going to just remove these. I believe these are the heat sink screws. Pop those off. I have enough silver oxide compound lying around here somewhere to put her back together. I don't expect to fix this. My plan here is to... I'm actually going to try to buy a parts machine to fix it. I think that's what I'm going to do. Just the tricky part is trying to find one of the same exact model. Because not all of these had XGA displays. This one does. But there's absolutely a problem with this machine, and I want to get to the bottom of what the hell happened. I have a hunch that the owner screwed it over, but that being me. And yeah, I just want to prove or disprove it. You know, it could have been a happy coincidence. It could have been that the resume battery or the CMOS battery had begun leaking. That's always a possibility. But you can't rule out anything right now. Should be yeah, it looks like it just snaps in. It should come right out. Come on, there we go. Alright. That and that. Now this upper board is the video graphics board, I believe. This is what makes it a VGA machine. It has the graphics processor on it, maybe a few other little odds and ends. It might even have the infrared controls or interface stuff on it. That's what that is. That's the graphics board. There's the video memory right there. Cooling fan for the CPU. Which ducts out this way. Where the hell's the heat piping? Oh, I think that's up on top. Part of it. It's a really strange machine. And the next board we're going to pull off, if I'm not mistaken, is actually the processor board. You'd be really gentle with that one. I may need it. There we go, there's that. No, that doesn't even contain a processor. That is actually a power board. It has all of the chokes on it. Yeah, I believe this is mainly power. Of course, nothing down this end of the machine would have been affected by that liquid, or should have been. Man, they don't make them like this anymore, and for good reason. It was expensive. This was probably the most expensive way to build a laptop ever. Now, to get down to the nitty-gritty, I have to pull off the dock connector. So, yeah, these have to come off. This really was one of the hardest laptops ever to work on. I figured out why I couldn't get mine apart back in 2001. There was something I missed. There was a lock, like a locking tab that had to be removed near the PS2 port. And once that was removed, I could get it off. So those have to be taken out. There we go. Nextly, got to, because I can't get the, this is where the liquid would have entered. I can't get under here unless I remove the bottom pan. And I think I know how to do that. Okay. Now what board is this? Let's try to figure it out. ESS audio drive. This is the audio processor board. And yeah, that's that. Okay. Yep, that's all it does. It has the audio process. As you can see it under that tape, the ESS audio drive logo. There's the headphone jacks. Truly, though, I mean, a machine like this, I mean, you can replace just what you need, not entire. You don't have to replace the whole motherboard. You can replace the audio board. You can replace the motherboard, the processor board, the power board, the video graphics board. I mean, it was all modular. But it was also very expensive to build, which is why things have gone the way they have. And electronics are more disposable now than ever, because they don't make them like this anymore. So, yeah. Now what do we got to do here? Well, I can't very well pull the PC card slot out of the way until I get the whole board separated, but I don't see any more screws. Maybe I'm almost there. Are there screws underneath? Not a one. Okay. Let's see. What am I missing? Like a tavern puzzle, if you will. I wonder if it's glued down. Oh, I found the heat piping. It is glued. I can hear the tape. There we go. There we are. Okay. And that was a complete waste of time. So, down here we have, of course, the processor is buried in there somewhere. And, yeah, That's where it is. Okay, I shouldn't be holding it like this. It's flexing too much. There's the PCI set. SB82437MX. PCI set SB82371FB. It's an 823 chipset. I think that's what that means. Oops. So here's the heat piping. There is actually no heat sink on this laptop. Not heat sink, I'm sorry. There is no heat exchanger. The casing of the machine absorbs the heat and is balanced out through this heat pipe. Actually, it absorbs the heat right here. That's where the heat sink is. I see. Yep, I see how they did it. Pretty smart. Well, I see absolutely no liquid damage here whatsoever. Nothing, not a thing. Let's take a look. We're going to remove the PCI slot. But I have to take the processor board off first to get there. And that could be damaging. It looks quite fragile. And it's glued in place. So, this could be, this is it. Come on. Yeah, I've already ruined it. Maybe not. Well, folks. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell if it's been ruined or not. But let me show you what the processor looks like. There is no heatsink grease. It uses a heat transfer pad. And I'm going to put this under the light. But there it is. It says TT8050-316. It's just kind of cryptic. Doesn't really mean anything to me. But that is the Intel Pentium 2 166 processor, mounted on a very thin board, unusually thin, single layer, I bet. You've got, I believe that is the level 2 cache right there, and there's room for more. The actual heatsink is this little doohickey, which is just a cast aluminum or alloy material. You can see where the lettering on the chip has transferred over to this pad, and this clamps down onto the heat pipe, which then transfers the heat to the shell. Pretty simple. But at this point in time, I think that the best course of action, I think I found one on eBay for about 60 bucks. I can buy another machine that's missing the hard drive and the power cord and all that happy stuff that nobody ever seems to care about, and I can use it for parts, and that might be what I end up doing. But underneath the PC card slot, let's see if we have any damage. I found it. Okay, I found the damage. Alright. But yeah, it's pretty much done for at this point. Let me show you what happened. I'm just trying to figure out how to get this, well, it doesn't matter now anyway, does it? Because the new board's going to come with a card slot. But there was just enough liquid. Oh, crap, that zoomed out on me. There was just enough liquid to trash one of the PCI chips. And boy, is it trash. Can you see that? Oh my god. Let me try to get in closer. I can't. This camera sucks. Be better off filming with my iPhone. But therein lies the problem. It looks like one drop of ginger ale landed right there. And you can clearly see it's burnt to crap. And that might even be fixable, believe it or not. But it's no, I can't solder that. Not with no, I can't do that. But what I was suggesting is basically rebuild the land and reattach it to the chip using. It'd have to be the finest mother effing software I've ever seen. But it could be done. But at least we know what the hell happened. And it was absolutely my fault. And I am so ashamed. But it's going to cost me some money, but I'm going to fix her. I'm going to do it. I'll wait until my next YouTube check comes, and maybe I'll buy the parts then, and we'll make another video of the repair work. I'm going to save all these parts because they're all good, except for the main board. But there we are. We found the problem. And boy, am I an idiot. Oh. Yeah, it was on this table. It was sitting right here. And I had a can of ginger ale. It was probably even on this coaster, actually. I knocked the can over by nudging the table to move it away from me because I was getting up. And, oh. And there's some damage to the table, too. The ginger ale wound its way into these. See, this opens up. And there's storage under there. And the ginger ale pooled in there. And then dripped down. And I didn't see it, but it got underneath a couple of books at the bottom of the table. And ruined the table. I'm going to get a different table now. I'm getting a smaller one. This is just too big. But that really pissed me off. Stay tuned, guys. We will fix her. We'll fix her good. Until then. Well, when we left off, I had disassembled the 760XL. Well, I got to thinking, maybe it is salvageable after all. So I took a better look at the board under bright light and noticed there really isn't any corrosion. And because the defect seems to be intermittent in nature, there's something not quite final in the board. So I went ahead and I reassembled it. Here it is. So we're going to try and boot it up. What I found is that on the board where the liquid had spilled, there was no corrosion, and it wasn't black or charred or anything, so that's a good sign. Knowing the fragile nature of the chipset, my hopes are very, very low. But nevertheless, it's worth a shot. I cleaned the area thoroughly with alcohol, which dries almost instantly. Removed all of the sticky substance, which was still kind of fluid. So it's like a syrup, and could be partially conductive. Reassembling this laptop was it was a bitch. It was an absolute bitch, and that is a perfect use of that word. It is one of the most complex laptops to work on, and and I've worked on these little G3s. I've done a lot of motherboard swaps in those, and those are actually a little worse, but in a different way. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it on. I haven't tried it yet. This is going to be the first attempt. And we're already getting errors. 173 error, I think that's CMOS battery. Probably a checksum. 163 is definitely CMOS. It found all the RAM. We got an error. Keyboard still works. So we need to set the time and date. Well, that clock is accurate, so it is 8:40. 34, sorry. Oh, whoops, I read it wrong. Okay, let me look at my iPhone here. It is 8:35, August 5th, 2014, 2014, 08, 05, and the time is exactly 08:36 p.m. Okay. Oh, this is in military time. 20. It is actually 20:36. There we go. Well, that's farther than I've ever gotten. So maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe we won't. Just doing a disk check right now. Ooh. Starting Windows 95. Started in normal mode. Make sure the sound is turned up. I think we may have fixed it. Yeah, we fixed it. Okay. Well, that was cool. Unfortunately, I didn't get any video footage of the malfunctioning of the machine, but I assure you it was. What it would do is, on startup, I think I described this earlier, is it would just sit there and hang. Sometimes the screen would come up, sometimes it wouldn't. It was just kind of off the charts. It was all over the place. And now the battery is looking like it's going to come crashing down. It needs to be charged again. But this is pretty cool. I don't know what else I can test. Graphics works, sound works. I should check the front and back infrared sensors to make sure those are functioning. I'll grab my Palm Pilot and do that. Optical drive is detected okay. Yep. It looks like we're out of the woods. This thing is running. I didn't have to put any money into it. Hallelujah. I had one part left over. I don't know where the hell this goes. I have an idea that it goes behind the rear fan, or somewhere in that vicinity, but by the time I found it, I'm like, screw that. It'll be fine. I have no extra screws. In fact, I'm missing one or two screws for the keyboard support piece. So I gotta find those. I have spares of that style, so that's not a big deal. Let's see if it goes to sleep. Push that button in. There it goes. Let's wake it up. It's woken up. What a miracle. On 34th Street. Okay, well, for those of you who made all the comments before watching the end of the video, haha, you lose. Oh yeah, I gotta put this back on too. Just gotta snap back on there. So let's just shut her down, give her a good charge, and hopefully things pan out for this machine, because it's one of my favorites. You know that. Okay.